Pi Network's origin story is unlike anything we've seen in crypto. But before we get into that, let's take a look at what the app actually looks like. Imagine this. You download an app, tap a button once a day, and completely forget about it. No fancy equipment, no complicated setup, just a few seconds of your time. Fast forward a few years, actually 6 long years, and that tiny action suddenly turns into thousands of dollars in value. Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what happened with Pi Network. Back in 2019, I stumbled upon Pi, a phone mining project that claimed you could mine crypto by simply clicking a button daily. I was obviously skeptical, but hey, it took literally 5 seconds a day, so I thought, why not? I didn't think much of it, just another experiment in this crazy crypto space. But here's where it gets interesting. Fast forward 6 years, Pi Network has just hit the open market with an $11 billion market cap, now ranking number 11 in the world, surpassing giants like Chainlink, AVAX, Sui, and Ton. What's even more impressive and honestly surprising is how Pi Network has been performing while the rest of the crypto market has been in free fall. And why is that? A big part of it comes down to Pi's unique community-driven model. While traditional crypto traders often panic sell during downturns, Pi's user base is made up of millions of everyday people who mined Pi for years, and many of them are emotionally invested in its success. And for these holders, Pi isn't just a speculative asset. It's something they've nurtured and believed in for a long time. In fact, it's one of the most interesting tokenomics models I've ever seen. My name's Kareem and welcome back to the Crypto Code by ICN Talks. Stick around because this is the only Pi Network video you need to watch. I'll break down everything, its history, its achievements so far. I'll also show you Pi Network wallet distributions to see exactly how decentralized it is. I'll then talk about the risks and most importantly, where Pi's price could be headed next. You do not want to miss this. This episode is brought to you by Zaya AI, a pioneering company in healthcare innovation, leveraging AI and blockchain to redefine digital pathology, setting a new standard in healthcare efficiency and diagnostic accuracy while drastically cutting down diagnostic processing times from hours to mere minutes. Zaya AI's aim is to make it easier for pathologists to diagnose diseases by using AI to more quickly and accurately analyze images of tissues and cells. Zaya AI is designed to be used by medical doctors in hospitals and by researchers in pharmaceutical companies. The company has recently launched its blockchain division and launched its own token. All details are in the description below. Check it out. So here's the Pi app. This is the home screen. It's very easy to use. You can see at the top how much Pi you've mined over time. When you go into the mainnet over here, you'll see the unverified balance versus the transferable balance. The unverified balance is the Pi that your network has been accumulating over time, but that will not be transferred to you unless they all KYC. And for me, the people that I did bring on obviously forgot about it and didn't do KYC. So I have a risk of losing this 6,600. I've seen other people who are about to lose much more than that, but I don't care. It's fine. But the 3,600 is basically what is going to be transferred for me. If you go to the checklist, that's where you see what you have to do. And for me, it's, step 1 is download the app, and then you go all the way down, but it looks like I still have to migrate to the mainnet. More than that, they have a Pi browser, which you can go in, and then there's different applications right now. I think in the utilities, you see like wallet, chat, develop, KYC, profiles, and blockchain. So very simple, very easy to use app. I think the UI could be better, but hey, it's a good start. So back in 2019, 3 Stanford graduates, Dr. Nicholas Kokalis, Dr. Chengdao Fan, and Vincent McPhillip, set out to solve a major problem in the crypto world: exclusivity. Bitcoin mining had become dominated by massive players with expensive rigs, industrial warehouses full of machines, and sky-high electricity costs. The average person had virtually no chance of participating. That's where Pi Network flipped the script. The founders asked a simple yet powerful question: what if mining crypto could be as easy as tapping a button on your phone once a day? No expensive hardware, no complicated setups, just your phone in your pocket. That idea wasn't just ambitious, it was radical, and yet that's exactly what they built. By the way, if you're liking what you're hearing, then let us know by smashing that like button and subscribe to the channel. Crypto moves fast, so ping the notification bell as well to make 100% sure you don't miss our next crypto update. Guys, join the Telegram channel to stay up to date with the latest notifications. We'll leave the link in the first comment below. So Pi's real magic wasn't just the tech, it was people. From day one, Pi Network took a viral, social approach to growth. Users were encouraged to invite their friends and family, turning the platform into a movement. This grassroots strategy exploded into popularity, and by the end of 2021, Pi had already amassed 30 million users. But here's where Pi did something different. Instead of rushing to market like so many crypto projects, they delayed their mainnet launch. Why? To enforce KYC verification, a strict identity check ensuring real people, not not bots, were earning Pi tokens. Some users grew very impatient, but this slow and steady approach built a trustworthy network, one that's now home to around 100 million users and sits at a top 20 token with $11 billion market cap. That patience paid off, and it's the reason why Pi has become one of the most fascinating stories in crypto. While most crypto projects raced to launch, Pi took a very different path, one that frustrated some, well, actually many, but ultimately built a stronger, more secure network. After Pi's initial launch in 2019, the team introduced a unique strategy. Rather than instantly going public, they created an enclosed mainnet in 2021. This meant that Pi tokens could only be used inside Pi's ecosystem. No external exchanges, no cash outs, no overnight millionaires. At first, people were confused. Why limit a project that had already attracted millions of users? But Pi's team had a plan. They were quietly building an ecosystem of utility. Merchants and developers were encouraged to build apps and services where Pi could be spent. This allowed real-world use cases to grow before Pi even touched the open market. At the heart of this strategy was Pi's KYC mandate, a strict identity verification system that required every user to prove they were real before transferring tokens to the mainnet. And this wasn't just a formality, it was a massive filter that prevented fake accounts and bot farms from cashing in. Without this step, Pi's supply could have been flooded with illegitimate coins, tanking its value before it even started. And finally, earlier this year, Pi Network opened its mainnet to the world, now fully tradable on major exchanges. But here's the twist. Pi didn't just list on exchanges like everyone else. They imposed strict conditions on liquidity providers to prevent pump and dump manipulation and ensure sustainable growth. While some critics called Pi's slow approach frustrating, this careful strategy ultimately paid off. And Pi Network is no longer some speculative experiment. It's now a serious contender in the crypto space. Let's pull up the screen and I'll show you just how big the Pi Network has become and how massive of a community they have built across their socials. All right, before we get started, let's take a look at what's happening in the markets. It's an absolute bloodbath. Trump announced tariffs. The things that he's doing with the trade wars is just not looking good in the markets, and people are getting out of risk assets, and crypto is obviously one of the highest risk assets. But you can see SUI is down minus 20%, HBAR minus 23%, Lido even touched 80 cents recently, which is insane. Pi is also down 11.7%. You get it. It's red across the markets. Not a great place to be, but let's see how things progress over the next week or so. If we look at the top 10 coins, again, Bitcoin is down really bad. It's down 24% from its all-time high. Ethereum has been doing really, really bad, down 42% just this year alone since January, minus 61% from its all-time high. But what's great to see is this Pi, like coming out of nowhere now, top 11, $11.2 billion market cap as of today. Today's actually March 14th, which is Pi Day. There's a lot of announcements coming around. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. But this is something that we'll talk about later, is their supply. Only 7 billion out in supply, but they have a total of 100 billion. We'll talk about that and why that's one of the risks. But Pi surpassing Chainlink, surpassing Avalanche and Toncoin and Sui, which are all major projects, right? Which means this is something that we need to be looking out and watching for, seeing what's going to happen very soon. So moving on, we'll look at Pi. It traded, I think, just from a week ago. It's not even that, it just launched like a week ago. It started off at, I think, 1.7. It's been trading pretty much sideways. It did hit a top of 2.9, just barely touched $3, but it's now sitting at $1.5. And if you look at what I wanted to talk about is the supply. So max supply, 100 billion Pi, which is insane. And we'll talk about how those are distributed across the core team, across businesses, and across the companies that have been building Pi and the network around it, and then the public. But circulating supply right now is 7 billion, and we'll talk about some of the risks around that. But volume is insane, $620 million. So it is a contender, and it's here to stay. I don't think it's going anywhere. How high it'll go, we'll soon find out. And guys, I want you to check out ICN.live. This is a platform that we've built for you. It's one of the best ways to stay up to date with the latest that's happening in the crypto industry, including AI, gaming, and Bitcoin. You'll see the latest events that are coming up. You'll see the latest news that's happening around the world. And we also have amazing interviews with key opinion leaders as well who really contribute to the platform. We also, if you wanted to check out the pricing, you can check out Bitcoin, all the latest news of Bitcoin, but you can also check out the prices. So if you click here, you'll have access to all the prices for the top crypto. You'll see the extreme fear now at 10. If we go into Bitcoin, let's have a look at what's happening in the markets. Again, it's been really, really bad over the past week or so. I think Bitcoin did touch down to $78,000, but it did rebound now back to 83. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think $80,000 is a strong resistance level, and I don't think we'll touch it again, but hopefully we'll see what's going to happen. But it's not looking good in general with Trump and all of the new trade wars that he's doing and the tariffs. I think it's going to be a challenge to see this bounce back up. But today's video is about Pi, and I wanted to show you just how big their community is and how big their network is. On Twitter, they have 4.2 million followers on Twitter. This is from 2024, last year, where they had 60 million engaged pioneers. But it's phenomenal how much they've built the ecosystem, and why this is so important is they understood the power of a community and the power of a user base, and they took their time building it. They obviously did it through rewards, and as we were mining over the past 6 years, every time we did open the app, they were showing ads, and they were making, I'm sure they're generating a ton of revenue on that because they had so many eyeballs coming in every day to mine. And so they were able to also monetize on that. So this is a great place to stay up to date with the core team and what they're building. And if we move on, I wanted to show you that, there's finally we hit 100 million downloads on the Play Store without doing any ads, just pure downloading. This is a massive, massive community. I mean, it took Binance several months to run ads before they hit 100 million downloads, but Pi Network did it purely and through word of mouth and organically, which is it's a huge achievement. I also wanted to show you the Pi guy that I follow also on X. So he says, unique crypto with 100 million downloads, 65 million active users, 19 million KYC'd users, and 11 million migrated with Pi in their wallets. It's currently listed on 5 exchanges. It traded at its all-time high at $2.9, and they're about to announce something huge today because today is March 14th, which is Pi Day. Next up, I wanted to show you their Telegram. They have 3.4 million subscribers on Telegram, which is honestly very impressive. It's massive. I don't think any other crypto community has that many subscribers, so just wanted to show that to you. And on Instagram, they have 2.3 million followers as well. But you have to stay safe. Never give your seed phrase to anyone. And if you go to Pi's website, mindpi.com, you'll see all the official social media handles, so make sure that you're following the right ones, okay? Even of the core team members here. All right, so I just wanted to show you that today was the final deadline for your referral network to KYC so that you could get those reward points as well. As you saw with mine, they forgot about it. I even reached out to my brother-in-law, who was one of them, and he said he forgot the password. And so I'm just not going to get that. It is what it is. I guess that's the only way that they can secure the network. And finally, I think this is worth looking at because 100 billion tokens in supply, in total supply, is massive. Only 7 billion have been released so far, but someone has done the research here. It's Rahul Tanwar and a bunch of others actually on Twitter, on X. But you think Pi's circulating supply is too high. So out of 12.5 million holders, 10.3 million wallets hold less than 10 Pi. 1 million wallets hold under 100 Pi. 877,000 wallets hold between 100 to 1,000 Pi, and only 23 wallets hold 10 million plus Pi. And here they've broken it down from microbes, shrimps, fish. I guess I'm a fish if it's 1,000 to 10,000, all the way up to whales who have 10 million plus Pi. So it's very distributed. The only concern, and we'll talk about it later, is the core team and the supply that's still outstanding. If that never hits the market and they really do control it, then hopefully the price can stabilize and continue to go up. Let's get back to the video. So I've been following the Pi network for the past 6 years, and this is why I find the crypto space so fascinating. The crypto world has seen some major innovations, right? So Bitcoin introduced us to proof of work, a powerful but energy-hungry system where miners race to solve complex puzzles. Then came proof of stake, a greener alternative where validators secure the network by locking up their tokens. Then came the Pi network, and they introduced something entirely different, a new innovation that's redefining how crypto networks can operate. Instead of proof of work or proof of stake, Pi network is built on the Stellar Consensus Protocol, a system that doesn't rely on expensive hardware or staking large amounts of tokens. Instead, Pi uses trust circles, groups of trusted individuals who verify one another, creating a web of security across the network. And this model is incredibly energy efficient, allowing Pi users to mine directly from their phones without draining battery life. It's also highly inclusive, giving everyday people the chance to earn crypto without expensive mining rigs or technical know-how. And Pi didn't achieve this overnight. Unlike the typical crypto hype cycles where projects pump and dump in weeks, Pi's growth has been slow and methodical. And that's exactly what makes it so powerful. For years, Pi users mined their tokens with no guarantee they'd ever have value, yet millions stayed consistent, tapping that mining button daily. Why? Because Pi fosters something most crypto projects never achieve: emotional investment. People feel connected to their Pi tokens, not just because of their potential value, but because of the time and effort they've put in. For many, Pi isn't just a cryptocurrency, it's a personal achievement. They've watched their Pi balance grow over years, convincing friends and family to join, forming a bond that's rare in crypto. Now, despite Pi's impressive rise, there are some risks that cannot be ignored, and they could dramatically impact the project's future. The biggest concern? Pi's massive supply. Pi's total supply is a staggering 100 billion tokens. While only a fraction of those tokens are currently circulating due to controlled releases, this enormous supply raises some red flags. A supply that large introduces a constant risk of inflation, especially if too many tokens flood the market too quickly. Also, a significant portion of these tokens is held by Pi's core development team and early contributors. While that's not uncommon in crypto, it does create a potential threat. If insiders decide to sell large amounts of their tokens, it could trigger a massive sell-off, destabilizing the price and shaking investor confidence. But there's another twist, and it's something many Pi holders are just starting to realize. Even if you mined Pi for years, you may not have immediate access to your full balance. Only users who have passed KYC verification and successfully migrated their tokens can access them on the open mainnet. And in my case, despite accumulating over 10,000 Pi, I may only be able to access a third of them because my referral network gave up and did not KYC. Now, this structured release system is designed to prevent sudden dumps, which could stabilize the price, but it also creates uncertainty. Ultimately, Pi's success will depend on how effectively the team manages these unlocks and how well they can grow Pi's ecosystem to absorb that inevitable surge in circulating supply. So what's next for Pi? Right now, yes, Pi has climbed the crypto charts and is sitting right outside the top 10. Very impressive. But here's where things get really interesting. If Pi continues to expand its ecosystem and massive community, attract developers, and build real-world utility, there's a legitimate path for Pi to 10x its value over the next couple of years. And I have a strong conviction that they're actually going to do it. They went from a nobody to a top 20 coin, just like that. So I think in the next couple of years, we're going to see Pi really take it to the next level. And if the token supply remains unchanged, that would place Pi at a roughly $100 billion market cap, putting it within striking distance of the top 5 crypto projects. While that's still less than half of Ethereum's current $225 billion valuation, it would solidify Pi as one of the top tier digital assets in the world. Now, that might sound ambitious, but here's why it's not impossible. Pi's greatest advantage is its massive user base and social reach. With around 100 million registered users, millions of active community members, and one of the largest grassroots movements in crypto, Pi already has a network effect that most projects can only dream of. But achieving that kind of growth won't be automatic. To hit a $100 billion valuation, Pi Network must accomplish 3 key milestones. Number 1, major exchange listings. While Pi is already trading, securing listings on top-tier platforms like Binance, Coinbase, or Kraken would unlock serious liquidity and broader investor interest, especially from US investors who are currently unable to trade Pi. And number 2, real-world utility. Pi must expand beyond just being a token you mined on your phone. It needs to power meaningful transactions, from e-commerce partnerships to in-app purchases and peer-to-peer payments. And number 3, sustained community engagement. Pi's loyal user base has been its biggest strength, but that momentum must continue as the network scales. If Pi successfully achieves these milestones, a $100 billion market cap isn't just possible, it's inevitable. And if that happens, those who mine Pi consistently could be sitting on one of the most valuable crypto assets in the space. The crypto industry is filled with stories that sound too wild to be true, yet they are. Pi has carved out its own place in crypto history, a project that took minimal effort yet delivered incredible results for those who believed early and were very patient. All it took was a simple phone mining app, no expensive equipment, no tech expertise, just a daily tap on your phone. For those who stayed consistent, what once felt like a casual experiment is now a top 20 cryptocurrency with a multi-billion-dollar market cap. Whether Pi's story continues to explode in value or levels off, one thing is undeniable. This project rewarded those who stayed patient and believed in its potential. In a space where hype often fades fast, Pi's slow, steady journey is a reminder that sometimes the biggest wins come from simply showing up consistently. So, what do you think? Are you holding Pi? Are you bullish or bearish on its future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. See you next week.